Dear esteemed, honored, honorable, notable, and noble viewer, it is not my intention to sow discord or to create some kind of conflict within the minds of the audience. This message is merely meant to somehow unite those who perhaps feel trapped within a certain paradigm. Meaning, if you're having brought up in a certain faith, and if you feel at all anxious about exploring outside of your faith, your paradigm, what you've been told, then please don't let that go. That is, even though the Christ did say he did not come here to bring peace, but to, father will turn against son, will turn against father, all that stuff. It's all this stuff is allegory. It is meant for you to see through the literal interpretation, the 3D interpretation, and get some meaning from the deeper symbolism from all of these stories. So when I made the video, talking about all religions come from India, granted, I realized that would perhaps alienate or put on the defensive, a defensive posture for those who are very attached to, like, say, Christian religion. And there's quite a bit of that still rampant in this Kali Yuga age of dissolution, of ego illusion. But going into the Sat Yuga, the golden age, once you drop your ego and just accept the oneness of all life, that everything's alive, everything is from God, then it becomes a magical existence. And that is what my intent is, to create magic within your life, put more magic in this world, more light in this world. But you must realize that sometime between the age of 13 or 14, Jesus of Nazareth set forth on a spiritual pilgrimage that would transform Jesus the Nazarene into Isha, the Lord, Yeshua, the teacher of Dharma and Messiah of Israel. In the Himalayan fastness, the outback of the Himalayas, great mountains, Jesus was instructed in yoga and the highest spiritual life, receiving the spiritual name Isha. This is what he was known in the Orient. You can see the name Isha recorded all throughout in Tibetan monasteries, in particular in the Himalayan outback. Isha, which means Lord, Master, or Ruler. A descriptive title often applied to God, as in the Isha Upanishad. Isha is also a particular title of Shiva. Namaste, Namaskaram. Shiva, that which is not. And essentially Shiva, we understand, in some aspects he is a destructive Lord, but what this refers to is destruction of the individual's ego, the individual's separation from the law of one. The worship of Shiva, centered in the form of the natural elliptical stone known as the Shiva Linga, which is a part of the spiritual heritage of Jesus. For his ancestor Abraham, a name which is, I mentioned, derived from Brahman, the father of the Hebrew nation, was a worshiper of that form. All of this is related. If we could but drop our sectarianism, our regionalism, our egotism, our chauvinism, all these things, and just begin to relax, man. Relax into this oneness of this human family and how all this knowledge is united. Because for uncounted millennia, India has been the spiritual homeland, light land, from the fountainhead of light of the earth. It is India that the divine soul science of yoga, which is union with God, the union to yoking your lower nature to your higher nature. Jesus taught yoga, Kundalini yoga, the soul science of yoga, which means to yoke, union with God through direct personal communion with him, has been preserved. That is why Jesus went to India as a youth. So please, breathe deeply. Part of yoga, the soul science of yoga, is pranayama, the science of breath. Trust me, whatever issue is in your life currently that perhaps is causing anxiety, or you don't know how things are going to develop, if you but focus on your breathing, and in particular, if you do the type of breathing that activates your vagus nerve system, and it's a simple formula. You breathe in, say 6 seconds through your nose. I always prefer to breathe in through my nose. That's because we have the hair follicles. That's a natural filter. It's always a point for me to breathe in through the nose. That's the only rule, or rather admonition, I would pass along. But anyway, however it's comfortable for you, the breathing cycle is what's important. But as long as you breathe out 2 seconds longer than your in breath, and you do that at least 3 times, I would say just do it for 10 cycles. But say you breathe in 6 seconds, you breathe out 8 seconds, and you do that repeatedly, you're going to activate your vagus nerve system. And whatever you thought was your problems and what was giving you anxiety, if you activate that vagus nerve system, your God mind, you will see miracles take place in your life, dear esteemed viewer. You will see spirit manifest into the matter. You will see heaven brought to earth. And you will have brought the light to this 3D realm, connected your lower self that is anxious with the morrow, with your higher self, your God mind, and you will thus be self-empowered.
Namaste, namaskaram.